This is my favorite dessert for the month of July. This is my interpretation of a Pavlova, a traditional meringue and whipped cream and fresh fruit dessert that's the Australians say started in Australia and the New Zealanders say started in New Zealand. It was first invented, we're pretty sure, for a Russian ballet dancer, Anna Pavlova. And if you've ever had a Pavlova, you may want to try mine. Or if you've never made successful meringues, stand by and I'll show you how. I'm starting the recipe by separating the eggs. So what I'm doing is cracking the eggs into a glass bowl and going back and forth from one shell to the other. And there's a clean egg white with no yolk in it. So the yolk goes in here and the shells go here and the egg white goes into the mixer. The reason you do it one egg at a time is that if you get any yolk in the egg whites, they won't beat up. So you have to have egg whites with no yolk in it. Meringues are always 1 part egg whites to 2 parts sugar. So after I do my 4 egg whites and get it beating, I'm going to measure my sugar. And I start off beating my egg whites slowly, just to get the egg whites to break up. And now I'm measuring my 1 cup of sugar into a glass measuring cup. Okay, so now this is kind of a little bubbly. So now I can turn up my mixer. And the most important thing is to beat it until you can turn the bowl over your head without the egg whites coming out. Sounds crazy, but that's the best. Now I'm going to prepare my pan for the meringue. And what I do here is I need some cooking parchment. So I put some baking parchment on the bottom of a pan like this. And then I'm going to make sure the oven is on 250 degrees. So I'm going to beat this until I can turn the bowl over your head. Look at this. So I have an electric mixer. One time I made a meringue. I had a glass of wine and I was in 11 o'clock at night in the window of my cooking school and I raced beating egg whites in a clean bowl and using an electric mixer. And you can't make meringue without electric mixer. So that's why we're doing electric. Watch this. I can turn the bowl over my head. That's how you know your egg whites are stiff enough to add your sugar. Okay, got it? And then most people the people that have bad meringues, the people that don't make meringues well, are the people that add the sugar too soon, the egg whites are not stiff enough, or they add the sugar too fast. So here I have stiff egg whites, and I'm going to add the sugar 1 tablespoon at a time. 1 tablespoon at a time. Don't add the sugar too fast. And don't keep adding sugar after it's all in. It's 1/2 cup of egg whites, 1 cup of sugar, and you must add the sugar slowly. What I'm doing here is some of the sugar dissolves and make a little sugar syrup with the egg whites, and some of the sugar is held in suspension. So what makes it a successful meringue is adding the sugar little by little and stopping as soon as all the sugar is added. Okay, now it's done. Watch this. I'm going to turn it off and lift it up. There's perfect meringue, and I'll show you how you can tell whether it's perfect, okay? What makes a Pavlova a little chewy, different than regular Swiss meringues, is they add a teaspoon of vinegar. So I'm going to stir in a teaspoon of white or apple cider vinegar. And don't stir too much. But that's what helps make the slightly chewy meringue. And as I said before, some people add a little cornstarch, but I don't bother. Look at this. This is perfect meringue. Here's how you can tell whether a meringue is stiff enough to keep going. By putting an egg on it. Watch this. The meringue should hold an egg up. So there it is. It's not sinking. You got it? So you wash off the egg and put it back in the box. And then you spread your meringue. Now here's a really cool trick. The meringue has to bake on a parchment paper, or sometimes I used to use wax paper. So what I want to do is put just a little meringue underneath the paper here, so that it sticks on the pan. As I said before, it goes in a 250 oven for about an hour, And if you live in a humid place, some people leave it in the oven in a turned off oven overnight. How does that look? Pretty darn good. Another thing that you would be doing it the wrong way would be going like this. You don't want to push the air out of the meringue. We've just beat air into it, so we don't want to push it out. Now I'm going to put it in my 250 oven and go do something else for an hour. It's been an hour, and now I'm pulling out my oval-shaped meringue. And it's best to let it cool on a rack for 10 or 15 minutes before you turn it out of the pan. While the meringue's cooling, I'm going to whip the cream. The cream does not have to be made in the electric mixer, but since I just used a separate bowl or clean out the same bowl, and since it's here, you have to be very careful in your whipping cream not to over whip it. So I'm going to whip this until it's nice and soft, and that'll be the cream that goes in my meringue, okay? Now we're going to stop it, and I want to show you this. A lot of people, this machine over whips cream really fast, and then of course it turns to butter. So what you want to do is stop it when it's quite soft. And this is just a little bit more than I would like, but it's just fine. If by chance you do it too much, you can still add a little cream to it and smooth it out again. I don't need to do this, but I just thought I'd show you. If you whip the cream too much, you can bring it back by adding some regular cream and just whisking it like this. So this is my meringue for my pavlova, and this is the tray I want to put it on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it onto a rack, turn it away from me, turn it over onto the counter like this, take off the paper and discard it, and turn it back onto the dish that I'm going to use it on. I'm turning it away from me like that. I really like the flavor of whipped cream with no sugar on it, on top of egg whites mixed with lots and lots of sugar, and then the acid of the fruit. So you have a combination, 3 different textures and 3 different flavors. And then now, here comes the most fun. Okay, these are blackberries. I'm just scattering some blackberries. These are some raspberries. So you scatter them around. You can scatter them on the plate too. I think I'm going to throw some blueberries on and some strawberries if you have them. This is some mint, and you don't have to put mint on every dessert, but it looks really nice on this one. Oh my God, doesn't that look good? There you have a Australian or New Zealand dessert, a soft meringue called a pavlova. For this recipe and more, go to tantemarie.com/recipes.